I'm just gonna wait for people to log on before I bring you on. So I hope you can hear me. I don't have people logging on, so I'll wait for more people to log in. But before I log in, I'm just gonna show. So this hair here is done by the hair shop by Kondwani Sarah. She's based in Zambia, so she made this one for me. And the top, that's by my own boutique. And then the chain, that's my own boutique as well. So the hair is all the way from Zambia. So I thought I'd go a little blonde today, being, in the movie, feel like I'm in the movie. That's how far I go a little bit blonde. So hence the blonde hair. Hi, Claudette. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Of course, America time is different. So America, it's good morning to you. In UK, it's good afternoon to us. So thank you for joining. And good morning, Chaco as well. Thank you so much. The hair is all the way from Zambia. Yeah, they made this hair in Zambia for me. So I'll wait for more people to join in, and then I'll bring Frank on. This is going to be a short interview. Just a brief intro of who he is briefly, and then we're going to have an in-depth interview at a later stage. So today is just basically a mini introduction about Frank Kasonde, so that you all can know who he is and find out the gentleman behind the movie The Struggle. As you can see from my background, as you can see in my studio, that's the movie Struggle. Thank you, Aunt Maureen, for joining. Good morning to you, because I know in Connecticut, in America, that's good morning time. It's 11 in the morning. And the same with Claudette. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. You always look gorgeous as well. Thank you so much. So more people are joining in. So thank you everyone for joining in. Today's interview is with Frank Kasonde. But before I start, I just want to say thank you to a few people, as this interview would not have been possible if it wasn't for Zasiki Global CEO, Monde Zama. So thank you, Monde, for the connecting, for the networking. This interview has happened because of you. So wherever you are, Monde, I just want to say thank you for making this interview possible, for making me interview Frank. And so I really appreciate you. Welcome, Nancy. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nancy's all there from Zambia. So we've got America on, we've got Zambia on. So America is joining in more. So you got more fan base in America at the look of things. Yeah, so America is more on. Thank you, Auntie Maureen. Thank you for coming on board last week. It was amazing to have you for representing Mapalo Sitters and Care Zambia. As you know, last week that was all about Mapalo Sitter Givers Zambia. Today it's all about the Zambian movie. This movie makes me proud, as I grew up Kaunda time. Kaunda was the one president I remember. He was the founding father. As we used to call him, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. Just his name sounds so powerful, because he fought for our independence, and this one I respect, and I love his humbleness. I love how our president is so humble and very down to earth, even after no longer being a president. Thank you. And also, I don't know, this is in Arabic, so I don't know who the Arabic person is. So thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your time. With no further ado, I am going to bring on Frank, because I think we've got a few people on. So Frank will introduce himself to us. We get to know him, and I'll repeat, this is just a short introduction of Frank and a short introduction about the movie, and we'll have another interview at a later stage where you can get to know him in full details. So with no further ado, please help me welcome Frank Kasonde. the producer behind our founding fathers and mothers, the movie called The Struggle. Frank, welcome, Frank, welcome. Can you hear me? Hello, Frank, can you hear me? See, that's hopefully you can hear me, and I'm hoping perfectly. So welcome to the business chat with Maria. We've got a number of audience looking forward to getting to know you and finding out how you came up with the movie called The Struggle. As you know, we've talked privately, and I remember I told you, like, we are proud. Finally, there's going to be a documentary or a movie about Zambia. And to know we're going to have a Hollywood actor in the movie, as Zambians, we are proud. So today is an opportunity for us to know you. So people would like to know who you are, get to know how you came up with the idea of The Struggle. As you know, we all love our founding father, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. So please, with no further ado, could you please tell us and the audience who you are,
Yep.
a little bit about your background and who you are, so the audience can know you, please, and also a little bit about your journey, how you became a producer as well, please.
You're breaking.
I can hear you. We can hear you as well. If you can tell us who you are and describe your journey on becoming a producer, please.
Maybe you can mute it.
I think.
Give me a thumbs up. I know. I can go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, please. I can hear you, but I think the network is, the network is breaking up. We can hear you.
Okay.
We're having network problem. Oh, I don't know whether it's Airtel, MTN. Please make this happen. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. You're breaking up. We can't hear you at all. The network is not good. Thank you, Sarah, for coming on. Thank you, Sis Christine, for coming on as well. Thank you, Aunt Maureen. I appreciate you as well. Thank you for coming on the business chat with Maria. It was amazing. It was an honor and a privilege to have you. I'm just waiting on Frank to come back. I can see him, but I can't hear him. Whenever you're ready, Frank, just start talking, because I think the network is breaking up, so we can't hear you at the moment.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you. But the network is not good. Oh, this is a shame. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully he will join us. He's there, but the network. Okay, guys, it's just cut off because the network is not good. I don't know what's happening. I do apologize. While we wait for Frank, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's joined so far. Really appreciate your support. I'll just quickly say about my hair. So I don't know if you like my hair. I thought I'd go a little bit blonde. I wanted to go full blonde today, but I was a little bit scared. So I thought I'd go a little bit blonde, half blonde, half bronze. So this hair was done in Zambia by Sarah Kondwani, who is the owner of the hair shop Zambia. It came all the way from Zambia. She delivered through DHL. She's an amazing lady. She does hair amazingly as well. So Sarah, thank you so much for my hair. My sister Sarah's just joined. Hi, Sarah. The devil. I know, right? The devil is a liar. I know. It's like, why are you stopping us? I know. But again, it's not. It's just the network in Zambia is bad. Even when we were doing the test trials, the network was bad today. And even when I tried to speak to my family back home, they were telling me that the network was bad today. So I was hoping that by this time it will get fixed and things will work out on our favor. So I don't know what's happening. So I'll just quickly talk about my top. So this top, I don't know if you can see it, it's called Bubbles. So this top is by Maria's Boutique, which is me. I'm Maria's Boutique. So I'll soon share my website and you'll be able to order stuff. It comes in small, medium, and large. And the chain is also by Maria's Boutique. I'll also as well put in on the website, and I'll share the link so that people can check it out. So at the moment, I haven't put everything on my website yet, but I will put everything on my website. Thank you, Linda. I know we are waiting on him. I know. Thank you, Linda, for joining. I'm waiting on him. The network in Zambia is not working. I don't know why. So he's rejoining again. He's rejoining again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he will join again. If not, listen, it's a weekend. And, you know, with what has happened during the weekend, we've lost Prince Philip, whom I loved. I love Prince Philip because I found that he was realist. He was just real. And I love that about him. And I thought he treated the Queen like a human being, not like a queen, but more like a human being, like his wife, his best friend. And I think watching The Crown, I don't know if you watch The Crown, if anyone watched The Crown, The Crown actually has taught me a lot about the royal family, because I remember reading more on the royal family when I was trying to get my indefinite stay, or when you're doing the test. That's when I actually read about the royal family in full details. But The Crown, I think, has made it more understandable about the whole royal family. And I love the Prince Philip lifestyle. I love Prince Anne lifestyle, because they were just real. Yeah, they were just real. And also losing DMX, you know, DMX is one of the pioneers, one of the legends. If you know DMX, you know he was one of those rappers who filled the stadium. And what I love about DMX, behind closed door, he was actually a cool, calm, collected guy who just lived his life. And, you know, and we've lost a legend in the music. So may their soul rest in peace. And I also want to say thank you to each one of you as well who supported me when I lost my brother on Good Friday. Still in shock, still processing it, but with life, it just makes you reflect on your own life as well, and learn to appreciate each day and take each day as it comes and count blessings rather than looking on the negative, on what people say, what people do. So I feel like, I don't know. I still haven't processed my brother's death. So I won't lie to you guys and say I've processed it. I haven't processed it yet. I'm still grieving, but I'm grateful for having friends like you guys who've been messaging me, calling me, checking me, seeing if I'm okay, and making sure I'm sleeping and I'm resting. And I am trying. So thank you. I've got my brother Thomas just joined from Dola. Thank you for joining. Welcome, and thank you. How do I pronounce this one? It's Hazel. I'm not sure I pronounce the first name to tele Hazel. I hope I pronounce it properly, Hazel. Thank you so much. Let me see if Frank is on. Let me see if I can. Yes, he's on, but the network is not on. So he's on, but the network is not on. It's like, come on. My sister's joined. Yes, sis. Thank you, sis. Thanks for joining. You did promise you'd try and join, because you always forget. So thank you so much for joining, sis. Yes, sis Christine. I know His Royal Highness, right? May so rest in peace. He was real. I loved him. It was real. I loved him. May so rest in peace. Really was real, and I feel sad for the Queen. I think she's lost her best friend. You know, try phone interview. Okay, that's a good idea. Try phone interview, and you can play the audio. Do I do the phone interview like now and do it audio? I don't. And then I'm live. I can try that. If I do live, let me try calling. Okay, I'll put him on my phone on loudspeaker. Let's try that. Thank you, Clara, for give me that idea. So this could actually work. Thank you so much. Frank, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm trying to call you. Frank, if you can hear me, I'm trying to call you so we can do audio live. Yeah, it was. Yeah, DMX was actually very prayerful. It's true. He was. He was actually a very prayerful guy. And yes, exactly. And I think that's what made him humble. Like when you see him. Are you live? Let's do audio. Yeah, let's do audio live. So instead of you coming on a video, let's do the audio talking. So that way the network doesn't cut. So can you hear me? Let's do audio talk. So audio talk, but we'll be live. So audio talk, but we will be live. So we'll do audio talk and be live, and hopefully we'll ask a few questions. The network is bad in Zambia. I don't know why the network is bad. Yeah, I'm trying to do the audio now to see. So I'm calling him now, and then I'm going to do the audio now. So hopefully, but hopefully you can hear me on the laptop. Okay, it's calling. Hi, Frank. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, now I don't know if the audience can hear us. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear Frank? If you can just comment for me if you can hear Frank, so I know whether this audio will work or would have to postpone and then do this interview maybe another time. So I don't know. Can you hear Frank on the phone with me? Okay, so they can hear you. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Claudette, for confirming that. So they can hear you. So we're going to do it this way. So this will be audio interview. Thank you, Clara, for that idea. And thank you, and Claudette as well for an idea. So just to start with, so the network doesn't cut, please tell us who you are and describe your journey to becoming a producer. So we want to know a little bit about who you are and your journey to becoming a producer, please.
I'm glad that we made it. We try to find a way on how we can actually make it work. So in Zambia, to be precise, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you. They're saying they can hear you.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, good. Yeah, so I said, my name is Frank Kasonde. I come from a family of 9. The 6th is born, and we only have 2 guys in the family. The rest are girls. That is pretty much about my family. And also, when we talk about me being a producer, it is not something I never envisioned myself being a producer when I started out. So how I started out is that it was out of the inspiration of desperation that I became a producer. You understand?
Right.
I actually found a need first, then I decided, to go about it. So I realized that was 2008. I realized that nothing has been done. Not much has been done in recording the history of Zambia, especially centered around the first president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. You understand? So I was thinking like, okay, why haven't we done anything for this great man? You understand? And that question actually came about when and then there was a certain documentary that was done, and a certain TV presenter was actually going in the streets asking people who KK was, and what caught my ear is the response from what people said. You know what I mean? There was like, no, he's a father of the nation. He's a son of Africa. He's one of the greatest leaders we have on the planet. So they spoke highly of him. So I sat down and I found it so intriguing because I was thinking, okay, if this guy is this great, how come we haven't done anything that we can sell to the world? You understand? Right now, as we speak in Zambia, we only have 2 personalities, maybe 3.
Right.
As exports. You know what I mean? So we have Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, we've got Red Kalu, and now we do have, the likes of, who is this, Christopher Katongo. In the near future, we'll possibly have Patson Daka and the likes. But these are the only, personalities that we have that we can export to the world. So I'm thinking, if this guy is this great, how come we haven't done anything about it? So I took it upon myself. I was like, okay, I'm going to do something about it. So the first idea that came to me was doing a book. So I was thinking, okay, how many Zambians, or rather, how many people to read? So if we put in more effort in writing a book, how many people are going to know about the book? You know what I mean? So I said, okay, what if we did a movie? So I have been in drama. Like I used to love to act, to write, but I never had an inspiration of being a filmmaker. But what happened is that when I found out that the only thing we can actually do to share with the world about our history and heritage is to put it in front of their faces, you know what I mean? Like, let's do a movie. So I found out an assignment first before I decided to be a filmmaker. So I was like, okay, if I need to make this kind of a movie, what kind of a movie do I need to make? So I started doing research on movies that have been made in that, line, the movies like Last King of Scotland, Blood Diamond, Hotel Rwanda, and things like that. So I started looking around on internet how you can make such a movie. So I took interest and I started traveling and talking to different people who actually in the industry. And before you know it, I realized, okay, this is I'm going to do it myself. You know what I mean? So I started out of the inspiration of desperation that this thing has to be done anyway. So that's how I started my journey. And it hasn't been easy because I was learning film at the same time I was trying to set a certain standard. You know what I mean? So I had people that I could see make movies before I even decided to be a filmmaker. And they are good. But at the same time, I wanted to become more because I knew the story I'm about to tell is actually a different story. You know what I mean? So it has been a rough journey and as well as an exciting journey because it has actually taught me a lot. So mentally as well, it took me to read a lot. I started reading a lot of books, a lot of material. Like it was just a lot of knowledge to put together a project like this one. You know what I mean? So I was learning about our history as well as learning about how to be a filmmaker. So it was like an assignment that I was actually treating simultaneously. You know what I mean? So it wasn't easy, but it has been exciting. And a lot of people actually don't know about me. And the reason is simple because, like I said, I'm not a filmmaker. It's not like I was making movies and I decided, okay, let me make this movie. No, I realized there was this movie that is supposed to be made. Then I figured out on how to be a filmmaker. So I'm that guy who, when you go on the internet, you never find anything about me. You know what I mean? I tried to produce about 3 other projects when I felt that the journey was getting so hard. So I tried to find something small and simple to do. And when I did that, I never felt satisfaction. So what happened is that I didn't do much in those movies that I did. So it had to send me back to the original plan that would actually introduce me to be a filmmaker. You know what I mean? So I'm entirely a filmmaker who only knows how to make this Kenneth Kaunda movie. You understand? You told me how to make a movie like a Kenneth Kaunda movie. I'm going to tell you what we can do, what we can't do. You get a sense? Because that is the only experience that I do have in terms of being a film producer. You understand? So for me, I just believe that I can tell amazing stories about Africa and Zambia to be particular. So like that is pretty much my journey now. I started being a filmmaker. So I found an assignment first, then I figured out a way on how to make it work.
Wow, fantastic. No, and like I said, private speaking, I did say to you, like, having a documentary on our founding father, it's an amazing. I went to Ghana on a holiday and arrived at the airport. As soon as they saw I was Zambian, they called me Kaunda. throughout my whole trip in Ghana, I was called Kaunda. And I kept asking them, why you keep calling me Kaunda? Goes, wow. Kaunda was Kwame Nkrumah's best friend. He was a true leader. If we had Africa would be great, you know. So to know that your idea came up of honoring our founding father and mothers is something we are all looking forward to it, and proud to be part of such a project. In terms of, as you can see behind me, there is a poster. The first time when the poster came, it was more introduction to say Dijon has been chosen as the actor for the production. So how did you go about choosing the main actor, which is Dijon, and what quality did you look for to pick him to play the role of our founding father, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda?
So when you look at the stories that have been told about our founding fathers, and most of them are disappointing. And the reason is simple, because if you try to write a story about yourself, make sure you hold the pen. You know what I mean? So the certain movies that have been done, like the movies like Last King of Scotland, it is so disappointing that the only thing young people know about Idi Amin today is that he was a bad leader. And I've got people in Uganda who tell me he's one of the greatest leaders we ever had. You know what I mean? So he had his foes, but what we did, we let somebody else come and tell our own story. So do you know what they did? They don't want us to be inspired by our own leaders. So they tell a certain particular story that you're gonna look at and say, wow, this guy was bad. You know what I mean? So the reason why I stick to making sure that I hold the pen when we're telling the stories that I want us to tell our own stories. So look at the way it is. For you to tell a story to the world, it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of requirements. So what I'm trying to do with the main act is that I want to make a movie that is going to be done or spearheaded by Africans, and yet it is of the world market. Right. You know what I mean? So it is easy for these guys to come on board and get a story and get an actor, Denzel Washington, and get whoever they can get and play this movie. You understand? It's going to be an amazing movie. But the question is that who is telling the story, and to what extent is that story, what is the accuracy to that story? You know what I mean? If you've never, look at the way it is. It doesn't matter how true or false the story is about Shaka, but the fact that that is the only history that you've been given in terms of watching a movie, that is the history you're gonna live with, in time. You get a sense? So that is how powerful, storytelling is. So whatever it is that we're gonna tell in this story, either it's true or false, that's what history is gonna tell. So what happens is that we picked on an actor like Jaimon also because he is in Hollywood. So we are trying to add a face to a huge story. So a movie like Inshallah has been done in Zambia, which is one of the most amazing productions that has been done in the country. And it never left Lusaka, you know what I mean? I've got people in Lusaka who never watched the movie.
What movie is that, please?
Inshallah movie. Inshallah movie is one of I would say, how can I call this guy? The simplest term you can call this guy is that he was a barbarian and just, invading the space of Zambia and things like. He's got a story to tell on his own. It's actually a good story, but what happened is that we used our own actor, our own local actor. So the product was amazing, but nobody wants to buy a product they never heard about. You know what I mean? So one of the reasons why in production, the most important thing we do is, what story are you telling? What actor do you have? And what director do you have? These three things are the most important aspect of production. So it is not for myself or for the old man, but for us to sell the history outside Zambia. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like a product. You get a sense? How can we get somebody that we don't know to be the face of Coca-Cola? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So you can have a good product, but as long as people don't know about it, they'll never appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I think you've answered that question very well, because I've had a few questions, people asking me, why using an American person, why not a Zambian? And I'm thinking, well, in Zambia, we don't really have an actor or an actress that's made it big. I'm not saying we don't have them. There are a few in America who are in acting, but they're not as big in telling the story of our founding father. And like you say, our founding father, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, is one leader. He gave us freedom, freedom. That's what he gave us. So his story, it needs to be told worldwide so people can see what Zambia is about. And as you know, Zambia as a country itself is one of the most peaceful country in the world. Zambia has never had any problems. Zambia are very peaceful people. And that's what makes me proud to be a Zambian. And I say it with proud, knowing that, yes, where I come from, we're very peaceful. We are very, that's the word I use. Very, other word is gone, but I love how you've explained that. And we've got a few people agreeing with you, saying this is a great project, Kasonde, and this is from Claudette in America. She's saying this is a great project, Kasonde. Is it going to be on Netflix Classic, or how are you going to do it? So her question is, it's a great project. Is it going to be on Netflix Classic, or how are you going to do it? How would you answer that question, please?
So right now, I've got two options on how to go about it. You know what I mean? I've got two options on how to go about it. And we've got one that we can actually benefit more. We can either go to Netflix for funding, where it becomes a Netflix origin. That is where they put in funding and pretty much begin to share royalties in terms of, and in most cases, it becomes a 70%, 30% ratio.
Right.
So when that happens, Netflix has the power to come and say, we really don't like the storyline. So what we can do, I think we can twist this a little bit just to make sure that we entertain our audience. Then we can twist this, so those tricks begin to become the reality of who KK is. It doesn't matter how false they are. It doesn't matter if we tried to entertain. So they're in the business section. All they want is make money.
Yeah.
You understand? All they want to make is make money. So then the other option is we make the product on our own. It is one of the reasons why I am trying by all means to make sure that I sit down with government, we get an endorsement, and we get funding locally from our own people. Then we can get anybody from outside to come and help us make this project a success. Then go to Netflix just for a distribution deal. That is all. You understand? Yeah. So the benefit of us getting our own money is that I want to use our talent. People really don't understand that us getting a Hollywood actor is for the benefit of our talent. Mm-hmm. You understand? South Africa was at the taste of Winnie Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, Sarafina, Invictus, Morgan Freeman. You know what I mean? So they took their own people, pressed them strategically with big actors, in the sense that people begin to realize, oh, okay, I've seen this guy act Idris Elba. I've seen this lady act There's Washington. I've seen this guy. So before you know it, right now, South Africa can produce a movie like Blood and Water, put it on Netflix, and it becomes the biggest movie on the planet. Do you know why? Because they've been exposed to an international market. Right. You get a sense. So pretty much we're looking at the distribution deal at an international market like box office and Netflix. But when you look at box office, it's not doing so much, and theater is not doing so much because of COVID and things like that. So pretty much we can only go with Amazon and Netflix, but we can only go to them for a distribution deal.
Okay.
The least I want is to get funding from outside, because it comes with responsibility of these guys making sure that they also take part in the creative aspect. So they begin to tell the story, and before you know it, we're gonna tell a story that I don't even know. You understand? So pretty much that's how we're looking at it. So we're looking at putting it on the world market by all means necessary.
Yeah, I love. I second the second idea of doing it in Zambia ourselves, producing it ourselves, and going to Netflix, Amazon for distribution, because I find that would work much better. I don't know what the audience thinks. So, Claudette, do you think Frank has answered your question? So for me, from the two options he said one of the options is to go to Netflix, where they put in funding, but it could come to a stage where they could rewrite the story in their own way, so to fit the audience. Or we can write the story the Zambian way, our own history, our own way. And then once we've written that, made that documentary or movie, then we can go to Netflix to distribute for us the way we watch other programs on Netflix at the moment. Like we all know, like during the COVID-19, we all relied on Netflix. So I don't know, everybody, if you could just give us your feedback and your comment on that, please, what you think. Also, another comment someone has put is on the project I would like to do. This is Clara, who gave us the idea of us doing the audio. She said, thanks, Frank, for taking on this project. She would like to know if you have read the following books: Zambia Shall Be Free by Kenneth Kaunda's, Letters to My Children, but more especially Response to Letters to My Children, edited by Marita Banda and others. And how much are you featuring directly from the books? Should I repeat that question, or did you hear what I said?
No, I actually got it. So pretty much, Zambia Shall Be Free, I've been reading that book since day one, and I'm still reading it right now. That is where most of the junk story came from. But not only that, we actually it took us about 7 years to get a script. And we interviewed over 40 freedom fighters, the likes of Mama Betty, the late herself, Mama Kankasa, Skoda Wina, Dr. Gray Zulu, and many other people that actually were in direct politics and outside politics. So we read all the books that she's mentioned. They were the first priority that we had, and we had other books by Sudanese, we had other books by many other great leaders who just literally spoke about the liberation struggle of Africa. So it has been quite a huge and bulky, research that we've ever done. That is why we made sure that we need to tell the story our own way, because we are the ones with the information right now. So before it is too late, we needed to make sure that we sat down with everybody that had the information. So we spoke to KK himself, we spoke to his family, we spoke to his friends that he works with in a different perspective, so that we can actually just come up with an amazing story. So pretty much we're telling the story of a young man that actually grows up to be a teacher, an ordinary man, an ordinary man from Maluba Hills, who becomes a teacher and later on decides to jump on politics. He actually never wanted to be a politician, I can guarantee you that. It was actually the courage and the drive of Simon Masakabwebe that actually led him to politics. And before you know it, he started noticing that now Zambian people were actually mistreated, and he realized, okay, this is a challenge that I can take up. So he embarks on a political journey. And it's not only the struggle for the nation, it is actually the struggle at a personal perspective, because he is struggling to be a husband to his wife, he's struggling to be a father to his children, and he's also struggling to be a leader of his nation. So it is pretty an amazing story. We want people to share the compassion of who he is. We know KK as an icon, as a Superman, but we don't know him at a personal level. The time he wanted to give up on most cases. And, it was a drive of people like Mama Betty, the people around him that actually, drove him and picked him up and said, no, you can still do this. And so it's an amazing story that, we owe to young people. You understand? It's an amazing people. It is a huge gap that we don't have as a nation. And I believe that it's going to bring a lot of healing. And we're going to build the home so that young people can get to benefit and appreciate the freedom that we have today, because young people don't know, so they can't appreciate what they don't know. That's why I took it upon myself and say, you know what, I think young people got to know for them to appreciate.
Okay. So to answer Clara, you've basically read all those books and you quote from those books to help rewrite this story.
Yeah, we have read more. We've even read books more than she, like the ones that she mentioned.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. Like, we've been soaking in the history of Zambia and the history of Africa as well, because it's actually one Pan-African story.
So in simple, then it from what you had said, then it would be better that we do it our way, the Zambian way. So we make it ourselves then. So we need to make it ourselves, write it in our own way, and ask the Zambians, the Africans, and friends of Zambia, friends of Africa, can watch that movie and help us to then help distribute and make them watch it through Netflix, Amazon. From what you've said, because I feel like you said, this movie for me it's the first Zambian movie. The one you had mentioned before said there was a Zambian movie that was done and it was never known. I didn't even know about it myself personally. But when I heard about Kenneth Kaunda, I was like, finally, someone's gonna write something about my country. It's showing respect just to our founding father. So it's one that everyone wants to watch. We've got a few people who've agreed that yes, they agree with the second option of making it the Zambian way, doing it ourselves, and then after that we then distribute to Netflix. Claudette is going to go as well. She said yes, let's make it the Zambian way ourselves, but she's asking how realistic is it to get funding? I think I once saw a GoFund campaign. Not sure if it was connected to this project. Sometimes it's also compromised a little, if not refined. So before you could answer that, says Claudette, the GoFund, I'm the one that created the GoFund after I had a private chat with Frank. I got to know him, got to find out about the project, and we discussed ideas how we can go about raising money. So I said let's use the GoFund, because GoFund was mainly for this kind of purpose, where you raise money for either university or project. So why not us do a GoFund for the Struggle the movie? In terms of how realistic, could you answer that question, please? So she's asking, how realistic is it to get funding? And I think she the government point of view, because you said that at the moment you are trying to make the government of Zambia to fund this project. So how realistic is that to get funding?
Trust me, it is one of the simplest things that we can actually do if we get the pieces right. Number one, we are in the electional season. People are going to be dishing a lot of money. Like, that's the only time you'll be able to see people dish out a lot of money at once, you understand, without a lot of explanation being done. So the strategy we put up right now is that we want to meet up with the president. We get a presidential endorsement in writing, and he makes a statement. And after that, we just ask the government, the president, to put in the first dollar. What happens in Zambia is that it doesn't matter how complicated whatever it is that you're trying to do. As long as the president says this is good for the community, we're going to have companies that are going to be assigned to put in some funding for, community. People are going to come in. The people like Trade Kings that actually removed, was that 30 million just for COVID, just to help the government. You can imagine. So if we're talking about the likes of a KK movie, so it's going to be easy for us to actually raise a certain amount of money. So it is very practical as long as we get the involvement of the government, because we can't do this movie outside the sitting government. Because even just shooting, we're going to be shooting in sensitive places like the State House itself during the last governor Saivli known. We're talking about closing roads. We're talking about shooting in we're talking about shooting at airports. We're talking about shooting in prisons. We're shooting about basically all government-owned properties. So one of the reasons why outside getting money, the reason why we need government is that we need to get access to all the the heritage places that we can have, that we need for shooting the project. So it is very practical as long as we just get the right strategy in place. So what I've been doing is that the Kenneth Kaunda Foundation has actually approached me right now. So we are likely to go official any day this week. What we're trying to do now, we're trying to create a face for the project. So I own a company from Global Movies Incorporated Limited, which is actually a corporate company. So I can only get access to people who are saying, I put in this much, I get in so much. Right. So but what we're trying to do, we're trying to incorporate, we're trying to merge the foundation in. That way we can start getting grants, we can start getting donations through the foundation. Then we open a separate account under the foundation, which is going to be receiving money. Then later on, we move the money to the production account. So that way, whatever letters that we're going to be writing out there, they're going to be having the headed paper for the foundation. So that way it's easy, because the foundation already has existing relationships with companies and the embassies. So it's going to be easy for us to actually keep starting to fund, to raise the funding locally. Okay. And that way it's going to be easy. So the deal that we had with Jaimon also, he said, okay, what you can do, get the meeting with the president, let them put in at least even $5 million or $10 million. Then what I can do, I can invite on board people that I know do have money to come on board. Then we can now, completely produce a movie. But what we just need is to make sure whichever investors we get, it has to be an African investor. That way, we still keep the original plan of making sure that we celebrate the movie being an African product and like just making money about it. So we don't mind an investor from nowhere like a Dangote or Patrice Motsepe putting in money. We know that it is African. That means we're still going to keep the original concept of making sure that we're telling a story on an African perspective. So I don't mind getting money from anywhere as long as it's from an African. So we got Jaimon also, not because he's a phenomenal actor, but because he's an African. So when we are selling this product, it is actually being done by African, but the African with the quality and standard of breaking the markets like Hollywood and Netflix.
Right. So when you say you are waiting on the president endorsement in order to make the funding be achievable, if so, is there a chance the president could say no, or does it mean you go with President Kaunda to the president to get this endorsement? Can you sort of elaborate more on that? What does that mean? Because you said at the moment you're waiting for endorsement from the President Lungu. So can President Lungu say no, or can he just say yes because he thinks the project is good? Or do you, or does it mean you would have to go with President Kaunda to agree on that? What does that mean?
It's not a question of it is not a question if he can do it or not. It is a question of, because it's a responsibility of the government to make sure they're part of the project. You understand? So even the president himself, if we had a conversation today, we are not going to him asking or begging if he can endorse it. We are asking him to be part of it because it is one of the responsibility of the sitting government wherever you go. When you go to South Africa, what South Africa does, all the Mandela movies that are funded by the government. That money is non-refundable and it is their responsibility. So it is only that because we are in a nation which is pretty much a little bit behind in terms of supporting the creative industry and things like that. Because this project was supposed to be fully funded by the government, because what we're trying to do, whatever it is, like I mentioned about the story, the Shaka story, it doesn't matter if it was true or not. What they showed in that movie, that is what history tells. So that is part of the curriculum. You know what I mean? So we are trying to add to the curriculum of the nation. So the head of state only happens to be in the sitting government. So when we are going to him, we are telling him to you, we are coming to you because this project has been endorsed by the first president himself. And we need your blessing because, number one, we are looking at telling the story of the nation itself. So what is going to happen? If I tell the story my own way, prematurely right now, when the story is out, it is indirectly connected to the story, because they're going to be saying during the governance of Edgar Lungu as a president, this story was told and is sacked. You know what I mean? So it is a reason why we make sure that we are in good books with the sitting government, because it's a partnership that we are actually doing, so that when we voice out, we don't want people coming to say, why didn't you tell us you're doing this? Look at the way it is. Now you're telling that Kenneth Kaunda was a drunkard when he wasn't. Look at this, you're telling this. So we are trying by all means to make sure that we go to all the relevant offices, sit down with them, share with them with the vision of what we're doing. Because when we put it out there, it doesn't matter who did the movie. They're going to say, Zambians made this movie. You know what I mean? So right now, when you look at a movie like, Last King of Scotland, it automatically says that's what the Ugandan says. It doesn't matter who told the story. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who was the president at that time. So it is pretty much in that context. So when we go to the president, it's not a question of he likes it or not. Maybe he's in a position of saying no or not. What we just need is getting access to him. And I've been trying to push, and I'm talking to a few relevant people. So right now, the strategy that I have is that I want to meet the first lady first, then I can get the first lady to get me an appointment with the president. But I'm so positive that we're going to get it. But besides that, we are also putting up strategies on how we can start getting some funding locally outside the president endorsement. You know what I mean? So we're just not only relying on the president. What we're saying is going to be quicker for us to raise funding if the president actually gave us a blessing. Because I've gone this far with the project because I got the blessing from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. So I know how powerful government letters and endorsement can work in terms of getting something done.
Okay. So talking about funding then, how can the Zambian community worldwide help to make this documentary or movie happen? What support would you want from us to make this happen? Because I know you're going to get it from the president, which I think is a good idea. Because
I'm not sure if you do know that the University of Zambia was actually built by the Zambians. Yeah. So people could just donate anything they had, and the university was actually built. You know what I mean? That's a strategy that actually Kenneth Kaunda brought up. So we're not coming from a position where we think it can be done or it can't be done. We know it has been done before. So it is just a matter of making sure that we spread the word across the world to every Zambian, to every African, and tell them the motive of what we're doing, why we're doing it, why it is important. Let me tell you something. Right now, as we speak, I think on the 15th, I've got a contact who will be having a meeting with somebody who approves projects for Netflix. I'm likely to be in the US by next month. I'm just trying to process my visa right now. I'm waiting for a letter from Foreign Affairs. I've already received my invitation. I'm going to be in the US. And what I want, I need to make sure by the time I get to the US, we've already decided that we are raising funding locally so that we don't get a Netflix deal, because Netflix has already showed interest and they are likely to give us a day for a meeting. So what I'm pushing is that I need to make sure I meet the president before that Netflix meeting happens. Because if that happens, we'll have no choice to go for Netflix deal, because at the end of the day, we need to tell the story by all means necessary. So having the fact we are trying to do it our own way and it's not going the right way, we'll be able to do it with the Netflix direction. You understand? At the end of the day, we need this movie in theaters by at least third or fourth month of 2022. You understand? So we are actually trying to work according to schedule, and our schedule says we are supposed to start shooting somewhere around September, November. So that's what we are actually basically working on right now. So those who want to be part of the project in terms of helping and anything, we've got the GoFundMe page that is specifically for the documentary, which is going to help us with the marketing of the main movie. So what we want to do, before the movie is out, we want to release a documentary which is going to give people more insight on who KK is, and that way they're going to look forward to the feature film. You know what I mean? So we just want to create the documentary to be a stepping stone for the movie, for the actual movie. So we have pretty much all the contacts. People can get in touch with you. They can get in touch with me. We've got a page on Facebook. We will soon be launching the website. We'll soon be launching a website where people can get access, and we're gonna put a funding portal there where people can go and make donations as well there. So pretty much you can get in touch with everybody on the team, and you can just see how best you can help us get off the ground, because we need any pen. We need all those little dollars, all those coins. We need them to keep, building the project off the zero budget. That way it's gonna be easy. So we don't mind, because the budget is about $35 million. We don't mind having $15 million and going to someone outside and telling them we have a story and we have $15 million and we want you to put in 25 or 20 million. You understand? That way we have a story and we have some money, so we can speak. But what happens if somebody comes in with the funding? They actually, I'm the least qualified person of this project. The only qualification I have is that I was envisioned enough to see through to where I am now. So what happens with these investors coming? They realize, okay, they need an executive producer who thinks or does certain projects. You guys, they need an actor who has done this. They need a director who has done this. And before you know it, all the Zambians that we are trying to put in the project will be disqualified. So when is it going to be right for them to do something like this? So what we're trying to do, for me, I believe it's a learning lesson. I feel that we're going to learn on this project. If people come on board and really don't know exactly what to do, but we just want to make sure that we give people an opportunity to try and put our work on the world market. You know, so I'm talking about, I've got a costume design team, which is all Zambian, but amazing. We've got, people like Wadenawa, who is actually a makeup artist that actually is, and she's worked on movies like, The Avengers. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to announce our people to the world. It's not like we're not talented. We just don't have a platform. So the reason why we are getting actually people from outside to give us, to open doors for us, Diamond is going to be opening that Hollywood door for us to come in. That is why South Africa, Nigeria, India, these guys are able to do projects and can break the Hollywood market because they've been introduced to that world. You understand? So there's a lot of people been asking me, what do you use Hollywood? What do you use Hollywood? This is one thing people don't know about Hollywood. There's a difference between being American and being Hollywood. So Hollywood is an environment that has been created by different people from different walks of life. So when we start counting, Jet Li is not American, but he's an Hollywood actor. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rilo Gopa, like all these big names. Most of them are not even from America. So us as Zambians saying, no, we don't need someone from Hollywood, we can do it ourselves. It is because we don't understand what even Hollywood actually means. So it is a space, it's an environment that has been created by creative directors with information, equipment, and the money to finance it where it is now. So we can't beat them, but we can send people there who can learn how it is done, and we can come back and start building according to our pattern. You know what I mean? So South Africa did it. They sent their own people inside, they brought them back, and now they know how to do it. So Zambia right now, we are not in a position to do any international movie because you can never go to a place where you've never been. It is practically impossible. So what we're doing with German also is that we're trying to get someone to open the door for us, get to view how the world views entertainment. Then we come back here and start doing our own projects the right way. So we do have the information, but we don't have the capacity and the ability to actually showcase on the international market. So we're trying to, bring the missing link into. So because Zambians are actually most of the talented people. You can imagine, I've never been to film school. I actually did mechanics and I failed with flying colors. And I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to be a filmmaker. And here I am, I'm doing a project that even up to now, sometimes I still don't understand how I've managed to keep the project this far. So imagine if we had the right information. Imagine if we had the right film production schools in Zambia. Imagine if we had the right coaching in terms of entrepreneurship, of production and things like that. How much can we do? You understand? Because what we do in Zambia is only based on an inspiration of desperation. Like you say, I really want to be a filmmaker. I really want to be a boxer. I really want to be a footballer. And from there, you begin to use all the pieces that you have to become that thing that you are. There's no a system in place that actually helps us to get to where we want to go. So I believe that this project is going to be one of the first opportunities to give people to show their works to the world.
Right. Just coming back, because I've got a few questions to do with the budget and funding. So from our private speaking, I understand we're going to make a documentary first, which is going to act as an advert for the main film, which is later to come on in the few years or in the next year or the same year. So with the documentary, how much is the cost you need, or how much fund you need to raise to make the documentary happen? How much is the cost for the documentary?
We need something like so the original budget for dollars.
Sorry, you have to repeat that. Your phone had gone off a bit.
So the original budget for the documentary was supposed to be $100,000. So, but what we did, we realized, okay, there are certain things that we can actually get that we need in the budget that we can start getting for free from people who actually believe in telling the story of the liberation struggle of Zambia and Kenya, to be precise. So what we started talking to different production houses. So instead of paying for savings for equipment and production teams and things like that, people started offering themselves to say, okay, this is what we can do. We can use our equipment to shoot. Okay, we can bring in some technical people in the production so that the production is actually run smoothly. So after that was done, we landed back on $50,000. So $50,000 is the money that we need to actually shoot and complete the whole documentary. But for us to kickstart, we needed something like even 10,000, like the one that we put up on a GoFundMe. So for us to kickstart it, we need something like a 10,000. But the original money that is needed is the 50,000 to shoot the whole entire documentary. So what we need to get started so that as money comes in, but we've already started shooting. That way we don't have to sit and wait to begin.
Right. Okay.
That is just specific. Yeah, that is just specifically for the documentary.
Right. So in simple, if I heard you right, so for the whole documentary to be finished from start to the end, we need total of $50,000. But
Exactly.
to start it off, we need the $10,000, which is what we put on the GoFund.
Exactly.
Okay. So someone had asked a question to say, in terms of the art, is the art and culture community in Zambia involved in the struggle movie? Because said that's another avenue where you can get you can raise funds. So are they involved in part of the struggle movie, the art and culture community in Zambia?
They are definitely. They've been involved. I got the first endorsement from Tourism and Arts as far as 2016. But apparently, like I said, we are working against all odds. We're working against a place that doesn't have a system for such places. For such projects. You know what I mean? So tourism and that's an information and broadcasting. Even if I was looking for 5,000 right now, they can't give me because they tell me it wasn't budgeted for. So the only thing you can get right now from the arts, tourism, and information and broadcasting is only a letter.
Right.
It is only a letter. I repeat, it's only a letter. It's the reason why the only thing we can get that we believe can give us money right now on the government perspective, it is a president endorsement and signature. That is the only thing that will be able, even them, they cannot give us money. But that endorsement will actually come with a lot of opportunities that can give us money. So in Zambia, the system in terms of getting the project funding, especially an idea just was birthed from a person in the community. It is like 98% impossible to get funding from governments. That's why we decided to make sure that we actually just get the president who happens to be the head of state. And the reason is simple. It is election time. That's the only time you'll be able to see people dish out some huge sums of money without giving a lot of reasons and explanations. So pretty much like that is what is happening. So we can count on ministries for funding, because even if I needed it needed a $10 right now, they tell you that hasn't been budgeted for. That hasn't been budgeted for. So that is something that we've put aside, and we don't even try to get a headache out of it to say these guys haven't given us money or anything.
So you're saying that, but if the president endorse and sign all these art, culture, the ministers, all of them will be able to donate. Am I hearing right, or am I?
No. So when the president endorses the project, the corporate world jumps in. So it's not even the ministries; it's the corporate world. So what happens?
Right. So
is that the government, each government, when coming on board, they do have people who actually funded them into government. So what happens is that when these guys are in power, they're given businesses. They give businesses so they can get out the money they invested in during the election time. So, but what happens when the president endorses a project? It's a responsibility of those companies to come in and start helping where they can. So we've got trade kings, we've got mines, we've got different companies that just come in and give huge sums of money. So when we had this COVID pandemic striking, we had different companies coming in and giving a lot of big checks as far as 30 million kwacha from 30 billion kwacha from trade kings. So pretty much these are the people that are actually assigned to give you some grants. These are not actually investment. These are actually grants. This is money that these companies actually give because the government has said, okay, this is a project that we are working on. So pretty much these guys don't fund in these other projects. They are funding into the government. So they'll give you that money knowing that government sees that you've been given that money and they do appreciate it. And that way they begin to get more tenders and they begin to have more business. So it is not even the ministries that will start giving us that money.
So
we don't have that money.
So in simple, what you're saying is the letter, endorsement, and signature from the president will open door and allow you to have access to reach out to private sectors to give funding. But is that guaranteed, or that depends on your approach?
So pretty much, like here in Zambia, it is pretty much automatic because everything we do here has been politically inclined and centered. You know what I mean? So this project, it hasn't struggled this much because we haven't put in government involvement, or rather the political involvement. So what happens if you want to get a project done in Zambia? It is simple. Just tie yourself to a certain political party and you'll be funded in no time.
Really?
You know what I mean? So exactly, that's what happens. So politics has actually grown bigger than anything. That is why it is politically difficult for us to grow, because somebody cannot find your idea because it's amazing, but because you belong to a certain group or political group. So you can imagine how closely it has been.
With that one, I don't know how to put it, because I'm getting confused. So please do correct me if I'm wrong. Because from my understanding, out of respect, because of course, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu is the current president. So out of respect, I understood your part where we have to go to him, of course, to ask him permission to say we are doing a movie and of the first founding father, which he knows as well, and I think he would love that move to happen. And we want your endorsement to tell us, please go ahead and do the movie. And if you can help, I'll help in any way I can, but it's not guaranteed. That, right? That part I've understood. So once we get that letter or the endorsement, would that be where you and I, the team, play a role now to go to companies and ask funding by us telling them why they should sponsor us or why they should donate money rather than saying political involved? The reason I say this is because, as I told you previously, I do events in the UK. I get funding, I get sponsorship. I get whatever. For me to get that money, big companies, I have to speak to directors, or like, I'll give an example. The last Independence, all the artists who came from Zambia came through Rwanda Air. And the Rwanda Air sponsored all the tickets, everything, and all the flights. I think we had 5 artists, if I'm correct. For me to get that sponsorship, it didn't come because I'm Zambian. It didn't get it because the Rwanda Air comes through Zambia. I had to tell Rwanda Air why they should sponsor me. What is the benefit of them to sponsor me? What would they gain out of sponsoring me? Does that make sense? So Rwanda Air sponsored me not because I'm Zambian or because Rwanda stops in Zambia. They sponsored because I told them what the incentive is going to be when they bring the artist. So in those incentives I'd listed down, I made sure that the Zambian artists fulfilled those incentives by doing exactly as we agreed on the document. So my understanding now is, yeah,
what
please.
I'm trying to say, if we're on news today, the president says we are doing a movie on KK, I will receive a call from the MD of Airtel, Zamtel, not me going there. Like that's the way it works, the system. So these guys, they don't want to be penalized. You know what I mean? Even if they don't like the government, but if you come in and you say you are the sitting government, what they do, they try by all means to entertain you, to maintain that relationship as far as you can go. When you go, somebody else comes in, they do the same. So in the UK, we get that letter, we need to go to these companies and tell them, okay, this is what we're doing. In Zambia, when it's announced on news, the president has endorsed this project, the MD of a company will call you, we want to sit with you. You get it? And so right now, when we did the Diamond also trend, I got a lot of calls. People from Penny. Penny's been Penny's been a trustee. He was actually is one of the trustees for the foundation, and he was an advisor during the KK's era, and he's been he's been chairman for 3 decades for Lusaka Golf Club. So these are the people I'm supposed to be looking out for. But the fact that they realize, okay, this is a story about a great guy, and it's gonna star a Hollywood star. You know what I mean? So here in Zambia, people only work with what is famous. You know what I mean? They don't like get an idea from scratch, dust it up and take it up there. No. So the only thing you need to do, just make sure that you're trending, then they're going to be in touch with you. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the simplest way on how things work in Zambia.
So what? Okay, so in simple, to my understanding, and I hope to the audience understanding, in Zambia, if the president endorsed anything, basically anybody will just call you and give you money, just like that.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how stupid the idea is.
Okay, in that case, someone has put a question, it's Priscilla Mienda. She's saying that if the government, if it's the responsibility of the government to endorse the movie, don't you think you should have got this done first to support your funding security? Because then once you do that, wouldn't that make it easier? So she's saying if the government are responsible for the endorsement of the movie, don't you think you should have got to do this first so that you can have a security as you have stated? Because
so look at this. I have one of the biggest projects in Zambia, in Africa, in the world to be precise. I have managed on my own, I've managed to get the biggest actor on the planet to come on board, and I'm still struggling to see the president. Imagine if I wanted to do that first and say, no, I have this idea, I've always wanted to do a movie on KK. Do you think I could get that platform?
So say it again, please.
We are actually working with different systems. So in Zambia, they want to jump on a moving boat. You understand? It is now that they're entertaining me. I've been working on this for the last 14 years. And it's only now that we're talking about it in social media. But I had this project. I was officially endorsed. When you saw that clip on radio, on the TV saying a Zambian producer has been given the rights, that was not the time I was given the rights. That was last year, right? I was given the rights to do a movie in 2016. But not until I got trending will people now announce to say a Zambian actor has been given the rights to do the movie. So in the layman, in short words, I'm trying to say that in Zambia, for you to get something done, you gotta get famous.
I don't know. I know. I haven't been to Zambia for a long time, and you know, I that part. I don't somehow agree with that though. That in Zambia you have to be famous to make it, and the president wants to endorse every company can just give you money like that. Because that's the case, I should have been a millionaire by now. I think I would have been a millionaire easily, like a millionaire easily.
The question is that how much?
That's where I'm a bit like. That's why I'm not sure how.
So look at this.
You getting an endorsement from the president can automatically give you funding from companies without you marketing or branding yourself.
This is me reporting to you from the ground.
Right.
We do have billionaires, we do have millionaires on Facebook, on internet. When you go on the ground, it's a different thing. So you guys, I actually do understand, because I know you're looking at it from a perspective of where you are, where you do have a system. You do this, you do that. So look at the way it is. Look at the odds. You're doing a face movie. The face movie. Do you know that the highest budget movie that has been made in Zambia was $1 million? And we're talking about $55 million. That is number one. Number two, we're talking about documenting the history of the nation.
Okay.
So this is like the whole nation giving you the ability to say, tell the story of our nation about us. So number one, it's a complicated project. Number two, it takes, like right now, the family actually gave me the right to do the movie, but they didn't want to be part of it, so that when everything goes wrong, they'll be like, no, we told him to do it, but we were not part of it.
Which makes sense,
they called me for a meeting and said, okay, we want you to work with the foundation so that we can help you raise the funding, because they've realized on my own, I was run to a certain extent. So even the family itself, it took them 7 years to decide to help me. That's what I'm telling you to say. In Zambia, I don't know how you do things. And the reason why you get those things done, you know why? Number one, because you're in the UK. So just being in the UK, I wasn't given the recognition that I needed until I left Zambia to go to South Africa. Until the news said the Zambian South African based filmmaker. So I'm reporting to you from the ground. Right. I know how these things work, especially on the context that we are actually telling a story which is politically inclined. So right now, even if you had a good idea to go to the moon, it was practical, everything is on paper, you have read my documentation, you know to say we can get funding not because we are doing a KK movie, but because our documentation is on point. You get a sense, but those things is not happening. We are struggling to see the president even when we are the biggest project trending right now. The question you should ask yourself is that why?
Okay.
So politics has grown bigger than Zambia right now. As long as you're not politically inclined, it doesn't matter how brilliant your idea is.
But can't President Kaunda help in making you meet the president a bit quicker, so that the project?
So look at the way it is. 3 years ago, I mentioned that and I told him to take the house directly. We had no problem. But the family said we can't do that. It is like you are having a birthday today, and you are the one calling people. I bought beer, guys. Let's do this. It's like you're forcing people. So it's not him being honored, it is him requesting to be honored. So they say no, we can't do that. So already I'm dealing with two governments right now.
Okay.
So it is pretty complicated. It's as simple as it is. It is pretty complicated.
Okay. Another question someone has asked, because that's what I was asking as well to say, because you said that once the endorsement happens, then everyone can sort of give you funding. So Clara is saying, would this not be based on a strong business plan, which has a good financial breakdown to sell, so that you can get funding, grants, and sponsorship? So she's asking, say, would you not need a business plan? So the phone has just cut off, so hopefully you call me back. Very good questions. Very good questions there. Hopefully you call back and we'll get to understand his question there. Okay, Kasonde, so you do agree that in Zambia it's who you know in order for you to move forward? Okay. No, I understand what he meant by that. What I wanted to understand is, because the way is, maybe it's just me not understanding, because he's saying once the president endorses it, the air you can get money easily just like that. But my understanding was what Clara said, say, would that not need a business plan? So like an example, I was saying that when I was bringing the artist for the independence last year, no, not last year, the year before, sorry, because it was COVID last year, I had to have a business plan explaining what the pros and the cons were of Wonder Air giving sponsoring the tickets. So I told Wonder Air why they should sponsor these artists and what I would give in return and what the benefits going to be. So Wonder Air had to read that, had to have a few meetings with them. They had to ask me questions. They had to ask me which artist. They had to look into that. And when they saw that it was fit for them to sponsor, then they came ahead and sponsored. So that's what I wanted just to understand on my side, to say, is this saying that in Zambia, as long as the president endorses something, automatically you get money, you become rich? Or does it mean, like Clara is saying, you need to have a strong business plan to present to those companies to say, we have the support of the president and this is our business plan. We want you to sponsor us for this movie because this movie is about founding fathers. The benefit of this movie will be this, and for you as a company, you'd get exposure in terms of your business advertisement, in terms of your marketing or your branding. That's just what I wanted to understand on that. So like I said, I did say in the beginning, I haven't been to Zambia for some time now. So it could be things have changed and they're working the way you're saying it works in Zambia. It's about who you know. So maybe that's how it works. And let me see what Christian said. I guess the local factor that at play that may be sensitive, but a great business is essential. Okay, yeah, it could be true that could be something. And this is where I think for Frank, I think he had to go where Priscilla said. So maybe we can work on getting the president endorsement first, so that we can have that as a security, and that would help us to share with the Zambians and Africans to say that this movie has been supported by the current president. Please help us. As you know, there is a GoFund called The Struggle. If you go on Instagram, you'll find The Struggle. And if you go on GoFund, it's called The Struggle, where we are raising money to do the documentary. For those who are asking, yes, I'm behind the GoFund. I'm behind the Instagram. I am part of the project. What am I doing? I'm doing few things at the same time. I'm learning about the project itself. So sis, like you were asking the question, do they have a website? That's something that they're working on. Am I part of the marketing? Yes, I'm part of the marketing, part of the publicity in terms of the movie The Struggle. I helped him with his recent interview with the ZAS, which is ZASA magazine interview. I organized and planned that for Frank Kasonde. So I am part of the marketing and branding. So don't feel like I was attacking him off. I just want to ask questions because people are making comments and asking me privately of different questions. I just want him to sort of answer it as well. I think his network has gone off because he hasn't called me back yet. So what I think I'll do, this is the key. Kasonde does agree that in Zambia things play a role. So we're hoping in Zambia, what does Cynthia say? Let us individual who can support Zambian film by all means. I feel blessed to be part of this project. Looking forward to seeing the film, especially once it's in on Netflix. Definitely. So like I've said, there is a GoFund on. If you go on the GoFund, type The Struggle, you'll find the page. And on Instagram, we're there as well. So for those who wants to sponsor, who wants to support, who wants to donate, please do help and donate. I will try and make another interview with Frank at another time because I think the network is not working in our favor today, and it's just message to say the battery is dying because as you saw from the beginning, he was in the car, so I think he wasn't able to charge the car properly. So we'll leave it here today, and what I'll do a recorded interview, and then I'll share it with everyone. I'll try and gather all these questions here. Let's see, what does it probably has a business plan in place. I think we're trying to say policy plays a big role. So in order to get the support, the movie has to be popular enough. This is a political move, so it will require the president's support to really be recognized. Yeah, I understand that part. Yeah, I understand that, like I said to Frank, because President Edgar Lungu is the current president, out of respect, he does have to ask his permission to get endorsement in order to do the movie for the founding father of President Kaunda. In terms of politics, I'll put my hands up. I don't follow politics. I don't get involved in politics. I don't live in Zambia. I'm here. I find that if I'm not living in Zambia, I'm not seeing how they're suffering, I should just zip my mouth, especially when I can't even vote, zip my mouth. So politics, I don't get involved. So like he said, he was speaking from his understanding on the ground because he understands the ground and how it works in Zambia. And like I said, I haven't been home for such a long time. So that politics may weigh a part. So on our side, I'll speak to him privately. From what you have said, I am in discussion with him, putting things in place with him. Because sorry, I'm reading comments. We're trying to talk at the same time. I think the great endorsement needed was from KK. Yeah, so then he's got the endorsement from KK. So the endorsement is got from KK, he's got from his family, he's got from mostly everybody. From the last time I sat down with him at the meet, I've been having meeting with him privately. We've had meetings. He's had all endorsement you can think of. The only one he said was waiting on was on the current president, and which I said out of respect, it's important to get his endorsement. It's like when you come to my house, out of respect, you kind of, show that kind of respect. And I think in this way, that's what he's trying to do, to respect the current president, to say, we are going to do a movie on the founding father, and we want your permission because you're the current leader to do this movie. And I think that's what he means by that. Thank you so much, Clara, for joining, and thank you so much for your questions. I will arrange, I think I'll do a pre-recorded, which will be easier. Thanks to you for making the audio happen. I didn't know I could do actually audio like that. That was crazy. So it works. At least you could hear him. And yes, I do pray that the move will happen. Fingers crossed it will happen. As you said, to finish the whole project, you need $50,000. At the moment, we are asking for $10,000 to start off the project so that we can make a documentary. Last time I spoke to him, we said, let's try to make a documentary where our current founding father could be in it, in the actual documentary right now. So it can be part of that documentary, and that would make it more amazing. And another thing, what I like about this documentary, this could be something that could be played on every independence on Zambia. Every 24th October, this documentary could be played to teach our children's children about how Zambia came about and how we got independence. So that's why I'm so supportive of this documentary. So don't feel like I'm attacking him or feel like I'm not really understanding him. I wanted to ask those questions because you were asking the question. So I wanted to make sure that he answers the question, and you could see there's transparency, there's honesty with his answers. There's no kind of avoiding certain question in terms of answering. What I was saying to say, I'm sure he can also get Vakeke to push on his behalf. He said he's trying, but the family don't want to get involved too much because if anything goes wrong, they don't want it to sort of backfire. So at the moment, we are working on finding a way to make it work. So, like he said, it's all about the current politics. So I'll play my role in seeing how we can make it work, and with your great support, that will definitely happen. Sis Susie, watch. Yes, please do watch on replay. This time you're just gonna see my face. I hope you're gonna be happy with my face. You can see I'm getting a little chin here. I know this COVID has made me eat. Konda kudia Maria. This chin has made me eat. Konda kudia. So no, thank you, Sis Sarah, for joining in your question as well. So guys, I can't thank you enough. It's a weekend. I'll let you go and start enjoying the weekend. Sis Claudette, Sis Maureen in America, thank you for joining us. Sis Chuck as well, thank you for joining from America. I know it's early in the morning, but you're still tuned in and logged in. What have I missed? Another question? Florence, thank you for joining as well. Really appreciate your support. Where else? If I've missed anybody, please do forgive me. So inbox me questions. I think that would make it easier. Inbox me questions that I could ask Frank when I do a pre-recorded interview, because at the look of this network, network yavuta chambe. So I don't know if the other it will allow us another time. I don't know. So if you can, please inbox me the question that you'd like me to ask Frank, and following next week, I will try and ask him all the questions. The GoFund is on. If you go on the GoFund, you type The Struggle. As you can see from the back, it's called The Struggle, and you will see what do you call it? So let me put this. I'll cover my face. So this is, you see a picture on the Instagram like this saying The Struggle, and on GoFund you find a picture like this that say The Struggle as well. So that's where you can help us to raise money. What else? I think that's it really. So I just want to say thank you again to Sarah, all the way from Zambia, for this hair. Next time you see me, I'll be full blonde. You know, I've got this blonde hair, which I bought from It's Ambitious, but I've always got fear of blonde. I'm like, how that look in blonde hair? But I tried it today and I was like, damn, I look good. So next week you see me different hair. And this top is Maria's Boutique, which is me. I'm Maria's Boutique. Chain is Maria's Boutique, which is me again. I will share on my WhatsApp and on my Instagram. I also share on my Facebook current products I have, and you can have a look and feel free to message, inbox me. What else? Rita, you're watching. Yay! Hi, Rita. This is Rita. This is my friend from Mufrila Secondary School. We are like those people kind of when kind of heaven when it comes to laughing, this is me and her. Oh gosh, we were just, I think at my first secondary school we were a nightmare. The people that knew us at first secondary school, we were a nightmare. She's one of I remember when I went to Mufria Secondary School, because my first language was Shona. I used to speak Shona all the way, and when I came to Zambia, I learned Nyanja, and I was like, yay, another language. Then when I moved to Mufria, I found there was another language, and I was like, okay, this can happen. And I remember when I went to Mufria Secondary School, I was like, I'm looking for friends from Eastern Province, so I can just speak Nyanja. And she's one of them. So we've come a long way, and Facebook has connected us. So I really, really thank you, Rita, for joining us today. Thank you, Grace, for joining. Thank you, Nancy, for joining as well. Really appreciate you, sis. Thank you for your support. Aunt Maureen, thank you for joining as well. I can't thank you enough. Hazel, thank you for joining. My cousin, Thomas, all the way from Dola, thank you for joining. My sister, Christine, Clara, everybody, thank you for joining. I don't even know what to say. Because I think I've got visitors today. I've got a surprise visitors today. Yes, I want to take them to the river. You know, I like river walks. So that would be great for Keke to appear now. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you know, with this aging and stuff, so I'm praying that's what we want to do it, the documentary, as quick as possible, so that KK could appear in the movie, so that our children's children, when they watch it, they could see he was there when this documentary was made. So it would be nice. So if, please, wherever you are, Zambian, African, non-Zambian, as long as you love Zambia, please sponsor, support the struggle, which is a Zambian movie. Zambian has the Victoria Falls, okay? Zambia has the largest man-made lake, River. Zambia has the world largest bat migrating. I never knew about that. And Zambia's birds as well, largest in the world as well. So it's like, whoa. So Zambia's got many things. Zambia is amazing. So please, if you know, just sponsor the movie, because Zambia is beautiful. Its people are beautiful. They are warm-hearted, welcoming. Zambia is beautiful. Even when I go to places, when I travel around the world, each time I say I'm Zambian, everyone seems to embrace me and welcome me. As long as I said I'm Zambian, they're like, "Oh my God, you're from Zambia! Wow, I love Zambia." I'm like, okay, that's very good. I've never been to a country where Zambia is not loved. Yeah, everyone I've met, even as long as I'm from Zambia, they're like, "Oh, you're from Zambia! Wow! Oh, Kaunda!" That's what they say. Kaunda, if not Kaunda, Chiluba. But Kaunda is the only president they mentioned. Kaunda, I'm like, yes, but it's no longer, you know, there's a new president now, but they always mention Kaunda. So that's how you know Zambia. So please sponsor the struggle. And it's a weekend. So thank you. I just want to say thank you to all my friends for your moral support, your love, through the difficult time for my brother. He was buried on Monday, as you all know. So may soul rest in peace. The family adjusting, coping, trying to, you know, move on with life. And so please send me messages in the inbox so I can ask Frank, and I'll do another interview. This one will be pre-recorded. Thank you, Sis Clara, for making me do an audio. So I didn't know I could do audio show. Life is amazing. You learn every day. So thank you, everybody. Is there anything else that I've missed? Thank you. Don't worry, I'll represent you next week. I'll represent you next week. Next week I'm going to represent you, because I tried it today. I was like, okay, blonde is me. So next week, sis, I will going to represent you. You're gonna see how I would look in my blonde hair. So everybody look out to next week. I'm gonna be blonde. Rhea's coming out blonde. Thanks, sis Eunice, for joining. How are you? I hope you're well and the family. It's been a minute. I need to come and visit you in Stock. I need to come and visit you. Definitely to come and visit you. It's been a while. Let the lockdown finish. Definitely coming for a holiday. Can spend quality time together. So it's been a while. So I hope you're okay. Family's okay. Give my love to everybody. It's been a while. I haven't seen you guys for a long time. So thank you, everybody. Have an amazing weekend. I've got a visitors, so they've been waiting downstairs. But don't worry, I fed them, made them full before I came and did my show, so that they're okay. So let me go and attend to my visitors. I've got a baby. Baby Jaden is here to see me. See, baby Jaden is here. I've got so many children. So baby Jaden is another baby. I'm gonna show you the picture. You'll see the picture of baby Jaden. So baby Jaden has come to see me, to give me some love. So Teresa and Tammy are excited to have a baby. Oh, I'm glad you're okay, sis. I'm glad you're okay. Glad to hear you're well. It's nice to know you're well, especially in this lockdown. So glad you're well. So give everybody my love for me, hugs and kisses. Tell them, I miss you guys. I'm coming. I'm coming from Sima. Sima na Impwa. Please. Impwa. Impwa, at least you can find it there. So Impwa. So you see, I'm not difficult. I've been Sima na Impwa, Chad. Just to make it easy. Who else have I not said thank you to? So thank you to everybody. Chiso, thank you so much as well for joining in. We will have a follow-up and we'll talk and see how it goes. Sis, what can I say? Thank you for joining in. You're awesome. You're amazing. Thank you for the questions. Unfortunately, the network in Zambia just didn't allow us to make it happen, but we did it all through audio. And he sent a message to say battery's dying. So I don't know if you can see. Said the battery's dying, so we can't. Yeah. No. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Really appreciate your time. Have a lovely weekend. Let me attend to my guest because you know it's rude. You have guests and not attending to them. No, that's not like me. So thank you, everybody. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I said thank you for being there for me, for loving me. I know. Thank you. Have a good weekend. See you all. We'll talk later. So happy weekend to you all. Bye-bye.